kind of legislation you might be willing to propose surrounding background checks and gun control? Because it's my understanding from some recent interviews that you do support gun control. It would seem that your voting record contradicts that to a large extent. And part of the reason that I ask is because I hear these kind of answers in which one would say that a certain bill is not going to pass anyway, so you might not want to support it or co-sponsor it. But those kind of arguments remind me of the same kind of arguments revolving around the ACA or the Affordable Care Act that, you know, far too often serve far-right lobbyists and corporate interests and end up getting nothing done. I understand the business of legislation is really complicated, and I'm far from know everything. So, you know, I'm definitely willing to listen. It just troubles me because if you look at gun care legislation as it stands, it doesn't really matter that much whether you're a Second Amendment supporter or not. What's happened, the issue of being able to purchase weapons at gun shows and versus having a background check at Walmart is actually just kind of absurd and contradictory on the face of it, and really is just not serving our democracy. So thank you very much.
Thank you. That's a very good question. No, I made it very clear I would support enhancing the background check. And what bill you're actually talking about is actually Senator Toomey and the Manchin bill over on the Senate side, which failed. On the House side in Congress, Speaker Boehner made very clear he's not bringing any bills up on the House unless it passes the Senate. That bill failed in the Senate. I've been working with Congressman Michaud and Senator Manchin to find out what can we do for that bill to actually tweak it so we can get something through. And one of the suggestions I had was, and actually something I've been doing here in Maine, I believe it was in 2010, when I reached out to law enforcement, I said, if you had additional funding, what could you use that money for? And this was long before the Newtown, Connecticut shooting occurred. And actually Sheriff Ross and some of the other sheriffs got together, and what we actually was able to get some federal dollars, and what we were able to do is actually give law enforcement in several of the counties here in Maine the ability to go in and actually map out electronically the schools where exits, where libraries were, and what have you. So if there ever was a situation such as Newtown, they'll be able to respond quickly because every second counts. And we'll continue to do that for all the schools here in Maine, because that's a good way if something does happen. But we do need background checks, and I do support that. But as far as the federal level, once again, I know it's not going to happen because the Speaker said he's not bringing anything up unless we get something through the Senate. And I'll be working with the legislature. I know the legislature passed something as well. The governor vetoed it. So I'll be working with the legislature to see what we can get done to move the ball forward in a positive way.